Have you ever felt like your life moves in cycles? Like you're experiencing the same lessons over and over again? What if I told you that the ancient masters discovered a hidden pattern, a 9-year cycle that governs our lives and determines when we should make our most important moves? Welcome to Eastern Wisdom Lessons, where each story is like incense smoke, and each teaching is a drop of awakening water falling into the deepest soil of the soul of those who are meant to hear it. Let me ask you this. Have you been feeling a sense of unease lately, like something big is about to shift? Are you standing at a crossroads, feeling that 2025 to 2026 might be your moment to make a major life change? Well, buckle up, because you might be right, and today's exploration might just be the cosmic validation you've been waiting for. To open our journey today, let me share a true story recorded in the biographies of exemplary women, an ancient text chronicling virtuous women from pre-Qin times. This is the story of Meng Gui-ren, the wife of a high official during the Zhou dynasty. She was known for her integrity and lifelong humility, never seeking fame or glory. One year, her husband received orders to travel to the state of Qi, a prestigious opportunity. He prepared to depart, but the winds persistently blew against him. 3 times he prepared, and 3 times the winds pushed his boat back to shore. The villagers called it a bad omen. But Madame Gui didn't blame heaven or curse fate. She simply lit incense and meditated in stillness for 3 days. On the 3rd day, she said, "The time has not come. The fortune has not opened. My husband's fate is in the midst of a 9-year cycle of transformation. Going against heaven's timing would bring no benefit. If you follow heaven's will and wait, you will surely be lifted up." Her husband heeded her advice and postponed his journey. 3 years later, chaos erupted in the state of Qi. All the envoys who had traveled there were imprisoned, disappeared, with no news of their fate. Her husband escaped this disaster and was later appointed to a high court position, not through scheming, but through knowing when to wait. Think about that for a second. When was the last time you pushed forward despite all signs telling you to wait? Or maybe you hesitated when everything was pointing you toward action? Let me know in the comments below. Why 9 years? The story isn't about lucky fate, but about a greater law, the 9-year cycle in ancient wisdom, where fortune and misfortune, prosperity and decline rotate according to the energy of the times. Only those who know how to flow with time can keep themselves steady at the crossroads of destiny. Why 9? The ancients didn't choose this number randomly. In the I Ching, the number 9 represents extreme yang, the heavenly energy in its fullness, the moment of great transformation. Heaven has 9 celestial layers, Earth has 9 regions, and humans have 9 body openings. All things in heaven and earth, when completing a cycle, pass through the number 9 as a point of fulfillment before stepping into a new phase. The ancient calculation method in the 3 cycles and 9 periods also shows that each major period lasts 20 years. 3 periods form a cycle, and 3 cycles form a 180-year energy pattern. Within this, each person has their own destiny cycles hidden beneath their lunar calendar birth chart. Each of these cycles typically lasts 9 years. That's why in ancient texts like the Purple Star astrology, 8 characters, or Tai Yi divination, human destiny is always divided into 9-year cycles, each cycle being a complete experience sufficient to build or break a lifetime of energy and fate. Someone may start their career at 27, change their fate at 36, break their old path at 45, or enter a major life rupture at 54 if they aren't awake. All these fall within the 9-year cycles hidden behind what appears to be natural life fluctuations. Now let me ask you, does your age end with a 7, an 8, or a 9 right now? Or maybe you're just starting a new decade of life? Where are you in your personal 9-year cycle? Take a moment to reflect on this, as it might explain a lot about what you're currently experiencing. Why ancient masters chose timing carefully. Notably, Ancient masters never undertook major endeavors in just any year. They waited and chose the right year to open fortune within the 9-year cycle, to emerge from the mountains, establish schools, transmit teachings, or retreat to preserve their energy. There's a passage in the Transmission of the Zen Gate about Master Dao Yuan. When a disciple asked, "Master, if you have such powerful Dharma, why didn't you teach it to people earlier?" He replied, "I knew the time had not come. Transmit the teaching too early, and it perishes. Transmit it at the right time, and it endures for 3 generations." He only chose the final year of the old cycle and the beginning of the new one to establish the Tian Tai school, which continued to be recited hundreds of years later. Real talk. How often have you jumped into something too quickly, only to watch it fizzle out, or waited too long and missed your window? Timing really is everything, isn't it? 2025-2026, the doorway to a new cycle. Friends, we're standing before such a doorway now. The years 2025 and 2026 aren't just transitional years, but the threshold opening to the next 9-year cycle. This cycle is considered the most crucial period for transforming your karma, your fortune, and your destiny. And here's the million-dollar question. Are you going to wait until your life explodes before changing yourself? Or will you pause while the energy is still changing direction? The cosmic significance of 2025 to 2026. After hearing about the 9-year cycle in ancient wisdom and why the ancients always chose the right moment to act or pause, let's return to a question many people carry in their hearts. Why are 2025-2026 considered the gateway to destiny transformation? What's happening in the deep layers of heaven's energy, earth's energy, and human energy at this time? The ancients didn't view years and months as an undefined flow. Each moment is a node of energy exchange, and 2025-2026 is the turning point of many intersecting layers that spiritual practitioners need to see clearly to avoid going astray. Let me throw this out there. Have you been feeling an unusual shift in energy lately? Like things that used to work for you just don't anymore? Comment below if you've been sensing this subtle change in the cosmic weather. Now, let's explore the first significant aspect of this transition period, the midpoint of a major energy shift that affects everyone on the planet. From 2024, the world enters period 9 in the 3 cycles and 9 periods system, one of the ancient predictive systems passed down from Eastern astronomy. Period 8, 2004 to 2023, belonged to Gen Earth, with stable energy, nurturing material things, leaning toward architecture, real estate, and physical forms. Period 9, 2024 to 2043, belongs to Lee Fire, with explosive energy, governing inner mind, intelligence, and spiritual light. But energy doesn't change overnight. Between periods, there are always 2 to 3 years of transition where the old energy hasn't fully departed and the new hasn't completely arrived. 2025 to 2026 is that middle turning point, when both streams of fortune flow, pulling the body, mind, and karma of each person in a direction. If you flow with it, you'll move as lightly as a boat on the current. If you resist, you'll feel exhausted, uncomfortable, and anxious without understanding why. Beyond this global energy shift, there's an even deeper transformation happening in the symbolic language of Eastern cosmology that affects our consciousness at its root. 2025 is Yi Si, fire hiding water. 2026 is Bing Wu, fire energy at its peak, the year of revelation, burning, and separation. This means the fire energy during these 2 years will burn away what is not real, ignite what remains hidden, and separate those who are awakening from those still dreaming. Those who still conceal inner instability will be exposed through events. Those who still walk off their true energy path will encounter obstacles to stop or go further astray. The ancients called these years The years that begin to burn karma. If your heart isn't righteous, suffering will manifest. This transformation is also playing out on the world stage through a profound restructuring of how we live and what we value. Since the pandemic, the entire world has entered a cycle of change with no return to the previous state. Technology reigns, but humans feel lost. Connections increase, but inner minds are chaotic. Achievements come quickly, but values gradually fade. Period 9's fire energy will clarify the boundary between those living in depth and those living by symbols, one returning to the way, one moving away from root energy. But perhaps the most significant aspect of this transition period is what happens to our personal karma, the accumulated patterns of our past actions and tendencies. 2025 to 2026 is the time when old karma rises most strongly, to either be resolved or tightened. If we are awake enough, karma will rise and then release. If we remain ignorant, karma will rise and then lock in place. The Buddha taught, karma is like underground water. To change it, you must enter at the right moment when the water swirls. These 2 years are precisely that swirling moment. I want you to seriously consider this. What patterns have you been repeating in your relationships, your career, or your personal growth? What old loops keep playing in your life that you're ready to break free from in this crucial window? Looking at this through the lens of our individual life journeys, we can see how this energy affects people at different pivotal ages in particularly powerful ways. This is a turning point for people who are 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, or 63 years old, those entering the 9-year folding points in life. If they don't recognize that energy is shifting, they may stumble into seemingly random upheavals that are actually the turning of heaven's mechanisms. Some may experience marital breakdown without apparent reason. Some may suddenly lose their jobs, despite being on the rise. Some may experience personality changes, growing cold toward life. Some may find spiritual truth or lose faith entirely. All these are manifestations of destiny touching the edge of fortune transmission, but not knowing or willing to step forward. The true nature of 2025-2026. Friends, 2025 and 2026 aren't difficult years, but fair ones. Those who are awake will step into the greater fortune that aligns with their root energy. Those who aren't will be swept into the new vortex that continues for the next 9 years. One right step will turn toward a different life. One wrong thought will return to the old path, repeating karmas that have been before. The ancients taught, time does not come again. Use it, and you will flourish. Miss it, and you will decline. Now, let me get real with you. What one area of your life are you ready to transform in this upcoming window of opportunity? What old story are you finally ready to let go of? This isn't just philosophical. It's practical life design at a cosmic inflection point. How different types of people will experience the new energy. Let's contemplate how this new energy will affect different groups of people. Those cultivating their hearts, those who are lost, and those sleeping in the old energy. Fortune is like an underground current in life. It has no form but influences everything with form. When fortune changes, people must also change. Because if people don't change, they'll either be swept away, get stuck, or lose their way. 2025 to 2026 marks the turning of new fortune, and each person, with different roots and circumstances, will be affected differently. The ancients said, energy responds to karma. Karma responds to the heart. Different hearts encounter different winds. When fortune arrives, if people aren't the same, the outcomes won't be identical. Now let's look at the first group of people who will feel this energy shift most distinctly. Those who have glimpsed truth, but haven't acted on it. This group consists of people who have known, heard, or realized something true, but due to circumstances, procrastination, or lack of courage, have yet to take steps. They once intended to change careers, but lingered. wanted to leave toxic relationships but still clung on, wanted to cultivate themselves but remained attached to social media, entertainment, and old habits. This is the group that realizes but doesn't act. If not careful, they'll be the group most likely to lose blessings in the new fortune. Why? Because heaven has opened their eyes, but they didn't follow that light. And when you've seen the path but don't walk it, the returning darkness will be harsher than before. Let's be honest. Are you in this category? Have you known what you needed to do for a while now but kept putting it off? This is your wake-up call. Your cosmic alarm clock is ringing. The second group that will feel this transition intensely are those who appear stable but are secretly misaligned with their true purpose. This is the group living in apparently stable forms, but with inner minds regularly empty, tired, and troubled. They don't do wrong work, but don't see what's right. They have good income, but don't find meaning. They have relationships, but don't feel genuine. They live like everyone else, but don't know why they live. This group thinks they're at peace, but actually, their energy is contradicting their destiny astray. In the new fortune, the Lee fire energy will strip away everything unreal, from lifestyle and career to thoughts and relationships. If they don't wake up, 2025 to 2026 will bring crumbling events. Something in their lives will collapse to force them to look again. It could be job loss, marital crisis, physical or mental illness, or a wordless fragmentation in self-belief. The third and perhaps most numerous group are those who simply continue on autopilot, completely unaware of the shifting currents beneath them. This is the largest and most dangerous group. They don't see problems. They live by inertia. They believe everything will remain as before. They chase other people's goals like walking shadows. They often say, "I'm fine. What's there to worry about? Why concern yourself with the future?" But they're the ones who will be swept most strongly in the new fortune. Because when heaven and earth turn energy, if humans don't turn with it, the consequences don't arrive immediately, but gradually, like cracks in pottery. By the time they realize it, they've already shattered. The million-dollar question: which group do you fall into? The awakened but inactive, the off-path but unaware, or the soundly sleeping? Be honest with yourself. This self-awareness is the first step toward navigating this transition successfully. The importance of awareness and action. Friends, regardless of which group we belong to, the fortunate thing is that we now know fortune is changing. We're hearing the echoes of the way. We have time to act before it's too late. Remember, no one stands outside of fortune. Even non-believers are still swept up in it. The more awakened you are, the more you must act. The more confused you are, the more you should pause. Heaven won't wait for you to wake up, but it will lift you if you know to return to yourself. Why 2025 to 2026 is the final opportunity to adjust your destiny. Someone might ask, if fortune is a long cycle, what's so serious about missing one phase? The question sounds reasonable, but the ancients didn't view time as an even circle. They saw time as doors, some opening as opportunities, some closing as limitations. 2025 to 2026 isn't just two calendar numbers, but the knot of a great fortune where heaven, earth, and humanity simultaneously change rhythms. Think about this for a moment. How would you feel if you looked back in 9 years and realized you had missed the perfect opportunity to transform your life? That's the weight of the decision before you now. Let me share 3 profound reasons why this window of opportunity is so critical and why missing it could mean waiting much longer for another chance. Period 8. Earth energy was nurturing and stabilizing, allowing people living in misalignment to still survive without immediate consequences. But period 9. Fire energy burns away what's not true, exposes what's disguised, and forces people to transform or be stripped bare. If you continue to delay, hesitate, or cling to old ways, the new fortune will burn everything you're holding on to, forcing you to change. In that burning, those who are prepared will become gold and be reborn. Those who aren't prepared will become ashes and be blown away. The second reason this window is so crucial is that the actions you take now will literally shape the energetic template for your next 9 years. Ancient wisdom didn't randomly choose good years for major affairs. Years of transitional fortune are years when energy is malleable, like soft wax. If you initiate correctly in the right time, energy flows with you. If you adjust yourself at the right moment, destiny flows with you. If you let go at the right degree, old karma falls quickly like autumn leaves. But if you do nothing and merely observe, energy will solidify according to old patterns. Once energy has hardened, you must wait for the next cycle to reshape your destiny, and that cycle is 9 years away. The third reason this opportunity is so precious relates to the unique guidance and awakening resources available during transition periods. During transitional years, guiding forces appear in abundance. New opportunities, awakened people, pivotal lessons, heart-touching words, situations that force you to pause and examine yourself. These are heaven's mechanisms sent into life, so those who know will awaken, those who don't will drift. But these opportunities don't last forever, like waves that come and go. If you miss the boat of 2025-2026, the people you should have met, the books you should have read, the ideas you intended to practice will fade and disappear. Not because they're gone, but because your energy no longer attracts that level. Real talk. What guidance have you already been receiving that you've been ignoring? What books have been sitting unread on your shelf? What practices have you been putting off starting? The universe doesn't send these signals randomly. They're your personal roadmap to this transition. The opportunity of a lifetime. Friends, we're living in a once-in-a-thousand-years opportunity, where heaven's energy opens to a new fortune, and also locks out those still clinging to old ways. No one forbids you from continuing to live as before. But if you live exactly as before, your life will surely change in ways you cannot imagine. And looking back, you'll see others have moved forward. Old paths have grown desolate, opportunities once glittering now just a dream. You'll stand in the third year of the great fortune, asking yourself, what if I had acted then? Therefore, if you hear this, know you still have an opportunity. And that opportunity is passing day by day like sand through fingers. If you want to change your destiny, 2025-2026 is the time. If you want to escape from old karma, no future cycle will come this close again.